First of all, we start by extending from character body 2D. Then we set up our variables, which is speed, jump velocity, and the Coyote timer variable that stores the time. Next up, we have the reference to the animations. You don't need to worry about this, and the gravity, you don't know about to worry about this as well. And the Coyote timer variable, the is in Coyote time variable, and the was on floor variable. We'll learn about them later. These are the function calling, you don't need to worry about them as well. We'll apply the gravity here. Now here comes the main code. First of all, we check if we are on floor. If we are on floor, we set Coyote timer to Coyote time, meaning it's now 0.2 or any value you set. Then we set is in Coyote time and was on floor equal to true. Is in Coyote time indicates if we can jump, where was on floor indicates if we were on floor the last frame. Now we check else if we were on floor last frame, was on floor, and if we were, then we start the timer by minusing delta from the Coyote timer. If the Coyote timer is 0, we set is Coyote time equals false. This might make the video a bit longer, but I wanted to teach you guys a cool programming concept, which I call the going frame-wise. Let me explain it in a little bit of detail. So let's go about this Coyote time code in the frame-wise approach. Now imagine a frame started, and I'm gonna make some English mistakes, so please ignore them. Now imagine our frame started. First of all, we call the handle jump function here, or handle Coyote timer function, sorry. Now we're checking if we are on floor. Then if we are on floor, we no longer need the Coyote timer logic because we are on floor, so we can jump anyways. So the Coyote timer doesn't even matter at this point. That's why we'll set Coyote timer to Coyote time. That means we are resetting the value here. Then is in Coyote time, we'll set it to true. It's the same thing because we don't need the Coyote time logic here, so we just set it to true. That means it will allow our player to jump anyways. Now we set the was on floor to true, keeping this value in mind here. Now because we are using if and else if, we're going to be checking for one of them. Because now we are on floor is true, we're not longer going to check for the if. Now the next frame started. Imagine that in this frame we are no longer on the floor, so we skip this if function and go beneath, and now we're checking elif. Elif means that if the above is not true, then we'll check this. Elif was on floor, that means if the was on floor variable is equal to true. Now if you remember, last frame we set this value to true, and on the next frame we didn't update it, like no, we didn't update it, so it's still set to true. That means yes, this function is now going to be implemented. So we start the timer, and inside this function or this area we check if the Coyote timer has become less than or equal to 0. So if it is, then we set is on Coyote time equal false. That means we cannot jump if we are in air. Remember that we are not checking if we are on floor. That means if we are not on the floor, even if we are not on the floor, we cannot jump. So it's like now the time has run out, so you cannot jump now. At the end we set was on floor to false, because like we have used that token and stuff, like we're using that opportunity now, so we just set it to false now. So it's up to the next frames. The cool thing is that now this will reset, these functions will reset due to the fast checking area here, like this is on floor thing. So next time we'll get on floor, these values will reset, and then we'll be able to use the Coyote time logic again. So yeah, it's a little bit of complex for beginners, but to be honest, if you learn this concept, you will become so much better in programming. So if you want a video on this going frame by frame approach, I'll definitely make one. So yeah, that's kind of the Coyote timer handling function. So the last function here that you should know about is the handle jump function. It's pretty simple all in all. So what we do, if we check, so the requirement for jumping here is, so you should have pressed the jump key, and either you should be on floor or in the Coyote time. That means the Coyote timer is not equal to 0. That's kind of the requirements to jump. If you fulfill the requirements, then the jump code will be implemented. So that's it for this video. So the rest of code doesn't matter. It's for animation and movement handling. So you don't need to worry about that code. It's a pretty big video for a Coyote timer video, but you can't blame me. I just wanted to explain a cool way to program. Yeah, that's it for today's video. If you want to get the project files for this project, you can get them from my Patreon along with some other project files, and it's a great way to support me. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.